is the confusion that Christianity brings forward, which I agree with. A lot of the things that you mentioned about Christianity, I'm on the same page with you. The only difference is I have a problem with your presupposition based on the right definitions of the terms we'll use. So, if you don't mind, on the different points that you mentioned, I want us to tweak it to the Islamic
Okay, striving, but actually,
paradigm.
just a clarification. The thing is, I wrote God because I tried to keep it open. I don't know as much as the Quran laws go, but I've heard some funny conversation, and it has to do with knocking as well. So you're not totally exempt from this idea. But I don't know how much of those laws you have compared to
Yeah, we do.
other
So
things.
when we get to the different point, I'm going to give you the Islamic position. Then you can give me your objection based on that. For example, the issue of cleanliness. Yes, Islam also has the notion that if you ejaculate, you are supposed to clean yourself, but it does not go to the extent that Leviticus 15 said. When you mentioned it, I went there and I read it. I agree with you. It's really ridiculous to see that kind of extent that everybody that comes in contact with you is unclean just because you have come in contact with someone that's ejaculated. I don't know where that is coming from, and this is one of the reasons why you cannot agree that this is coming from God. So I will contextualize it for Islam, and then I can now hear your objection to it.
Okay, no problem. And then we get back to Christian. Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the idea of salvation. So you guys dance around around different definition, but can you agree that God plans that everybody is going to pass away?
He's going to pass away.
Yeah, we're going to honor life from this world.
Well, I'll grant you that because you believe in God, but yeah.
Yeah, of course, we're talking about God, so we have to, we have to put in that God exists.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the idea is that God is going to raise us up after we've passed away, and then some people will be in heaven and some people will be in hell. Can we agree on this paradigm?
Yes.
Then can we now agree that the term salvation will mean that when you are raised up again, you enter heaven salvation? Can we agree on this paradigm? Okay, so this is the Islamic view. When you enter heaven, that's salvation. Everything else that they tell you, eternal life, being with Jesus, all these things, these are Christian confusion. They're not getting from anywhere other than themselves. So with this paradigm, with this definition of salvation being the you getting into heaven that God has created for the ones that are going to be worthy of it. What is the relationship of?
Actually, this makes it way easier for you guys, and I understand it because it's like salvation should be the solution. It's not like I become saved, I get into salvation, and then I still have to prove myself to get into heaven. So yeah, I understand.
Fine. So we understand. So what I'm trying to understand is, if you understand that salvation is you getting into this heaven, which is a Islamic position, what is the link of getting into this heaven and having suffering in this world? Why is it that for you to get into heaven, you have to not suffer in this world? What is the link? That's what I'm not understanding from your topic.
Oh, no. It wasn't about basically eliminating suffering altogether. The question has to do with the focus, right? The amount of energy or priority that is given to intimacy as compared to the ways by which we reach this salvation. And I had to include human suffering in the sense that, well, there are many other ills of society that go on. I mean, in incest, there is adultery. Adultery even an ill of society.
We'll get to those ones.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to link the beginning of the topic and the end of it. Because you said, if God wants us to get salvation, why is he not focusing on suffering? I'm skipping the middle part. I'll come back to it, but I want to link the two first.
There's much more.
So I'm coming. Understand the question first. The question is, if God actually wants salvation, and salvation means you get into heaven, what does that have to do with suffering on this world? Why is it that if he wants you to get to heaven, he has to somehow eliminate suffering from this world? Why is that the case?
A few points, but I'll just give you one. I think for starters, that would make him or it more believable, and then
why
one would accept.
Why will it make him more believable if he removes again? whether
Come
it's
on.
believable or not.
Tell
The
that,
question
tell
is,
that,
we've.
tell that,
I'm
tell
coming.
that, tell that to the babies that were in school and saw, just saw light and then they disappeared.
That's
In
fine.
Gaza, right? If
Yeah,
God could
fine.
have held that thing in the air, don't you think all of them would accept the God of Israel,
So,
although
okay,
they were Palestinian?
okay. So, are you saying the issue you're having is about believability? Because actually, it was a logical conundrum for you that salvation has to be attained without suffering. I thought that was a
No,
logical problem you
no,
were
no,
having. Was it
no.
about
I did not say
believability
there
of
has to
God?
be. Listen, the topic, if you try again, it's not to say salvation has to be attained without suffering. Is that salvation, right, is there. Okay, God has said, I want to save you. And then he's giving us laws in order. I suppose this is what also leads to the steps of going to heaven, right? Okay, but the problem is the laws are packed with things that don't have to do at all,
I get
right?
that. The problem
So
is, I'm saying let's pause the part of the laws first. I'm concerned with the suffering part because you called out suffering as a as something that will have stood out
yes,
to
now
earn
you're not letting
salvation
me.
if that's his
You're not
goal.
letting me finish these sentences. It's the second time I've tried because I stopped there and
Because the
you cut
things
me
are
off first time. Wait,
irrelevant.
you cut me off the first time. Let me finish it. Those things do not have to do with human. I don't know, human reducing human suffering. How does don't you man don't knock a man? How does that reduce human suffering? Eh?
Is that all you want to say?
How does men should not dress like women? How does it reduce human suffering?
Yeah, but God
Why are you
never
going to
said He's
waste?
trying to
Why are
reduce
you
human
going to
suffering. That's
waste?
what I'm
Why
trying
are
to
you going
get you
to
to
waste
understand.
full papyrus, full scrolls just to write how people should use their bodies rather than regulating human society
But Killer,
and
you understand
reducing the
that God,
ills?
the, the the objective of God is not to reduce human suffering. Do you know that? Do you understand that?
Pardon?
His objective is not to reduce human suffering. That's not his goal here.
Oh, then I don't know what salvation is about.
We just say salvation is getting into heaven. Is you have to pass away, you have to die
Do
and get
people
to
suffer?
heaven. That's
I I
salvation.
I
It
I
doesn't
think
matter how
then,
much you suffer while you are living until you die. It doesn't matter how much you suffer. What
but I think
matters
that
is that
answers.
once you die, you get to heaven. So
I think
why are you
that
linking the two?
I think that answers your question because salvation, if it's getting to heaven and heaven is a place where there's no suffering, then of course suffering matters. Then, right?
No, I'm saying there are two phases to life. This first phase, it does not matter how much you suffer, because it has no bearing on you getting to heaven in the second phase. In the second phase, what you do in the first phase, regardless of whether you suffered or not, will determine whether you're going to suffer in the second phase or not. So you seem to be thinking that God is concerned with us not suffering here in order for us to get salvation. That's not his concern.
No, I think you're misunderstanding my point. Is that there's too much space. It's like you have a constitution and you waste 50% of it talking about unnecessary stuff instead of making actual laws for society.
Okay.
Don't you get
Can
it?
you first in this world and it is not linked to getting salvation in the next phase?
Maybe that's in Islam, but I can't agree that for Christians.
Yeah, I know I've already admitted that Christians is a confused theology. I'm talking about from the Islamic
Okay.
paradigm. I've already given you a definition of what salvation is in Islam, and from that salvation, from that framework, suffering in this world is not crucial to salvation.
Sorry, I'll block comment section. Yes, talk, I beg, bros.
Let's go to the second point. Now, you mentioned all these other sins.
Mhm.
Are you saying that suffering is independent of all these other things you mentioned about sexual immaturity, sexual promiscuity, human relationships? That suffering is independent of these things?
Well, the thing is, I don't see. I really wish I had put up the other phrase for the topic. It's like, amidst all the ills of human society, the different ills that are possible. I'm not saying incest is not an ill of society, but can you imagine the other things that exist out of sexuality that can be an ill to society?
Yeah, but the
Why are
thing
these
is, you
things?
didn't just outline
That's the point. Why are
sexuality
these things
only,
not
right?
being regulated? Huh?
Yeah, you didn't just outline because the things being regulated is not just sexuality. You said human relationships, sexuality.
Relationships, yes.
Yeah. So, is there any suffering that is outside sexuality and human relationships?
Of course.
Give me an example, please.
Oh, natural disasters. That's a very easy one.
how is an outside relationship of the human beings and the environment?
Totally. Huh?
How is natural disasters independent of human beings and the relationship with the environment?
It's not independent of. Wait. But can you ask that first question again?
You said suffering independent of human relationships and sexual immorality?
Yeah, there are sufferings that are independent of that,
So
and
you give
unless
an
you want to tell
example
me
as
that people,
disaster, right?
yeah, people
Natural
don't suffer.
disasters.
Uh-huh.
How is natural disaster independent of human relationships?
It has to do with the natural phenomenon. You don't have to do anything with it about it. I mean,
Isn't this part of
people would
our
just be
relationship
walking
with the
around.
environment?
When I
Isn't
was a
relationship with
child,
the
people wait
environment
now. When
part
I
of
was a
it?
child, people were walking around left and right, and all of a sudden the ground starts shaking. Do we have to do we do anything to the ground for an earthquake to come into being? We suffered from it.
But
Houses got burned, places, roads opened up, and shit. So, bruh.
okay, so are you saying that, for example, the fact that we breathe air and drink water, is this not a relationship we have with the environment?
Well, again, that's a relationship with the environment, not human relationships. This is
All
not
right.
a human relationship.
Is the sun at fault for being hot?
No, it's not. I didn't blame it, did I?
All right. So then why are you having a problem with a volcano erupting or with a
With what?
particular point upon with a volcano erupting? That's its nature. It's supposed to erupt. Or for example, a part of the earth is supposed to shake. That's its nature to shake. Why are you having a problem with that
No,
if you don't have a
I
problem with
gave
the
you,
sun being hot?
I gave you a natural disaster to show you how humans can suffer out of their personal relationships and out of intimacy. That's what you
Yeah,
asked for, right?
but you're trying to say that those natural disasters could have been removed because that should be the priority, right? But I'm trying to point out to you that you are blaming certain things for their nature and accepting other things for their nature. For example, you don't blame ice, you don't blame anything else with nature that can be injurious to human beings, and yet you want these other things to not have injurious natures. How does that work?
No. I think you should expatiate before I can give you a response.
I'm
I don't
saying,
want
for
to go in with this
example,
short
yeah,
half bit.
ice
Yeah.
ice can cause, for example, ice can cause frostbite, right? Sun,
Hmm.
fire can burn you. Stone can hurt you. All these things we have around us can hurt us based on their nature, but they also have other natures that help us. So if you
Hmm.
don't see these things as being problematic, such that everything should be removed, why are you now being against these other things because they have a nature that doesn't really favor us in some instances?
Bro, you've taken this thing to a whole different angle, though. Like, I'm struggling now to understand your angle. Trust me, but um, natural disasters again. Well, I don't. Are you following up on the example I gave you of
Yeah, you said
something that
natural
could
disaster. We're talking about human relationships, right? So again, you
exactly?
give an example
A
of a
natural
suffering
disaster
that's
has nothing to do
independent.
with. It has nothing, especially directly to do with human relationships.
I
Humans
get
or
that.
no
I,
humans on the
I
earth.
acknowledge
No,
that
humans
there
or
is
no humans on the
independence.
earth, there will be natural disasters. But because the humans on the earth, when natural disasters happen, humans suffer. It doesn't have to do with humans dealing with each other.
Yeah, so I acknowledge that it's independent. What I'm confused about is if you are saying that natural disasters shouldn't be there because they cause suffering independent of these things. I'm now wondering why you are not asking for everything to not have a nature that is injurious to humans. So everything else
Ah,
shouldn't have a
okay,
nature that
okay.
is injurious. Why are you picking just these things and say they shouldn't have this nature, but the rest should have the nature they currently have?
Yeah, okay, I understand. Well, I think it's also because of the claims that you have made, I mean, believers have made about their gods. I mean, we were talking about free will yesterday. It's like if God has free will, I mean, and all the other qualities he has, we should be living
Okay,
in a
so
perfect
can we
world.
get 10 more minutes?
Wow. You're serious
Yeah, go
about
on.
me today. Bro, what did I do?
No, I just wanted a few more points I've not got finished with, so I wanted to
Okay,
us to
okay.
finish here. So go on,
I
please.
got you. No, I was just saying, well, it's simple, right? See, I'm talking here about I don't know. Just ask the questions. Actually, sorry, I was just listening to your question
No,
and
how
try to
did
come
you
back
reach the point? So
because
again,
it looks like I'm repeating the same thing over and over, just trying to
yeah.
change
So
how I represent it to
yeah,
you.
I'm just wondering if you've considered, because if you're one of the example, which is a good example, that it is independent of human behavior. But if you're asking for these things to not exist, I'm wondering why you're not asking for everything else based on their nature, not to have an effect that can be injurious to us.
Okay.
Why is it
That's
just the
exactly
things
what I was
that
trying to answer.
that you don't want, that you are asking for to
Yeah,
be
that's
removed?
exactly what I was trying to answer, and I was answering it in this way, right? The God that has been presented to us is capable of. Wait. Maybe I should ask you the question, but it's not an engagement. So I would say I have heard on this platform and many other platforms about a God that can do anything. I
Mhm.
don't think eliminating suffering is beyond that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's pick up from there. God that can do anything, right? Why now, if he really has the power to do anything he wants, why do you assume that you can choose what he should want to do?
Well, let's say he did everything he wanted. He also gave me a brain to think, or it also gave me a brain to think. And now
Right.
I'm coming to find, and now as limited as I am, and I'm finding so many faults in his work.
Okay. Let's say, for example, let's talk about oil refinery owners, right? For we know that for every
Damn good
industry
thing.
you put in place, there's going to
Uh-huh.
be an injury to the environment, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be an effect. Someone is getting hurt based on what you've put. For example, we know the organic field, right? Are you
Mhm.
saying that the person that built Exxon and all these other oil companies that extracted oil, was it
Mhm.
not within their? Isn't that what they wanted to do that they did?
Of course, it's what they wanted to do that they
So then
did.
why are you questioning it because there is an effect that is not favorable to everybody? How
Oh
is
no,
that
I'm not.
reducing their power?
Well, that's. I don't think it's directly an ill of human society. The ills of human society have to do with things that come about. I mean, that happen because humans interact with each other. This person decided to make, or yeah, it's not directly in that sense. I mean, he got workers, he got people to make this oil for
No,
him,
the
and
question is
then
about power, right? Because
eventually,
you're trying to question that if God can do everything, he didn't do this one thing, then he means his power is somehow less. The question now is if you put this scenario to an oil owner, oil company owner that wants to make profit from drilling and knows the profit comes at an injury to the environment, how is it a reduction in his power because he chose to do what he wants to do?
a reduction in whose power then?
The oil company owner's power. He has all the
Well,
power to
does
build a
does
company
does
or not
does
to build it.
does,
He has the
does
power to
God
drill or
exist
not
in?
to drill, right? So if he chooses to
But
drill because he wants to make money, how does he reduce his power because he chose to drill and not to drill to save the human beings?
sorry, I don't think we're even directing in the same. I mean, going in the same direction. Like what's up with his power? Aren't we talking about a God's power here? Or are you
The
or are
point
you
is,
making it?
you're trying to
Or are
say
you
that
making it?
God,
Wait,
yeah,
or are you making him God in this situation? Let's get it
I'm
right.
trying to give you an example that's closer to home. You are saying that God having the power to reduce, to eliminate suffering, somehow makes him less powerful because he didn't do it. I'm saying the God has a choice. He chose not to eliminate it. Why does that reduce his power?
It does. I did not talk about the level of his power, bruv. I'm talking about things he can do to make sure that humanity be saved, as he is said in the Bible.
Again, please
Don't you think?
don't stop
I
going back
mean,
to the Bible. I don't really care about the
it's
Bible.
wait. It's also the same reason why I don't understand, right? That your Allah would make Adam and Eve in heaven, and then say that He forgave them when they fell, yet He banished them to earth, right? And then claim again to go and be teaching them blah 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 blah. Why not just do a reset button and continue living with your Adama
What's your business with what he chooses to do? It's his power, it's his might. Why do you care?
and
So
what?
why should I care if? So, for example, again, the same thing with the oil company, right? I can't come back and be having an opinion about their ability. I can say I don't like it, but I can't question the ability because they made a decision I don't like. So I'm not questioning your reaction to it. I'm just questioning your questioning of this God's ability. That's all I care about. Not that you don't like it. You not liking it, that's fine. But you saying that
No,
somehow
I'm
puts
not.
a question mark on his ability is what I'm challenging.
Um, See, I'm not questioning the ability, not with this topic. I'm questioning the priorities that this God takes.
All right.
I'm
So you're
questioning
questioning
the
the priority.
priorities, not the abilities.
All right. So why should his priority be about eliminating suffering? Why should that be his priority?
Where's this verse again? Let me go and find it and read it.
Please don't go to the Bible. I don't care about the Bible.
Well, I'm saying that the priority should be, well,
What is
I
the
don't know how not to go
logical
to the scriptures
requirement? Like,
because
what is the
no,
logical
I don't know how
thinking
not to go
that
to the
makes you
scriptures
think
because
there should be a
that's where we
priority
get
for
an
an
idea of
all-powerful being?
bruh. You should listen to a little bit now, I beg.
Sorry, I'm trying to
I
just
don't know
rephrase
how
the
to
question. Go
go.
on.
Okay, I don't know how to go to those scriptures, right? And I mean, how not to go to those scriptures and actually answer your question. But let me try this way. I mean, the God should be concerned, right, with human experience. It should be concerned with human experience because, as far as I've come to know, humans are the maybe well, as far as science or we have come to know in general, this thing in the front of our head, right, prefrontal cortex, is what makes us seemingly the most intelligent, beings on earth, right? And because we have that thing, and then we come into the imagination of a god or something, we imagine this thing being perfect, all love, oh no 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 no. So I don't know why you're making it seem like I'm the one who is
Yeah,
creating things
I
that
get
shouldn't be,
this
or
point, right?
I'm having too many
I'm trying.
expectations from an I'm having too many expectations from an omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient being. Is it, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
I
can be too
get
many
what you're saying,
expectations.
right? I understand that you have expectations. I'm trying to understand the logic behind the expectation. Now, let me put it in this way for you. You acknowledge that human beings are the most intelligent human creation on earth, right?
Right.
Are they the most harmful to the earth? Like, do they cause the most harm to earth
I would say almost in the same degree as as we are
compared to
more
cats?
intelligent than the other
Compared to
species. Yeah.
cats or cows, do they cause more
Pardon?
harm to earth compared to cats or cows? Do
Of
they
course,
cause more
compared
harm?
to all other biology, I would say yes, we do more harm to the earth than.
All right. The
Yeah.
fact that our actions have an adverse effect on the environment, does that make us less intelligent?
Uh, what does this have to do with heaven now
Just answer
or
it.
salvation? No, it doesn't make us.
So
Say
there's
it
no
again.
logical requirement for the most intelligent being living on Earth to have the least harmful impact on the Earth. There's no logical requirement for that, right?
No,
All right. So let's come back to God. You expect God to remove suffering. What logical basis for that? What's the logical basis for that?
because it is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent.
All right.
If I
So
can do
what is it
anything,
about being
wait.
omnipotent that reducing power? So, for example, if he does not remove suffering, does it mean he's not omnipotent anymore?
No, but if it is omnipotent, it should listen to the cries of everybody on earth. Are you telling me there's people that say, "Thank you, God, I'm suffering. Thank you, God, I'm
That's fine.
suffering.
But we can
Thank you,
agree that
God. Thank you,
whether
God, for
he
my
doesn't
suffering."
agree,
Wait. Can you find me people that do that?
we have people that do that. I'm sure you've done it a few times yourself. But the question
Wow.
is, we're trying to understand if this God can be the logical reasons for why he might not be omnipotent like we expect him to be, right? So we've said that God is omnipotent. The fact that he does not remove suffering does not reduce him does not stop him from being omnipotent. Can we agree
No,
on that?
it doesn't. But the fact that he doesn't do that shows that he has other priorities.
Okay, we can agree with that. He has other priorities. My only thing is I'm trying to establish whether any of his attributes are disproven by the actions he has not taken. Is there any part of his attributes that we can say, oh, because he has not done this action, he must not have it?
Actually, of course, if somebody say, if I tell you from today to tomorrow that I can lift 100 kg, you put that thing in front of me and I keep talking and talking and talking. What's the use of the talk?
Good. So tell me one thing he
No,
said
then
he
you tell
can
me
do and he
what's
didn't do it
what's
so
the
that
use
we can
what's the
know
use of the
he
talk?
doesn't have it.
I just do it in a second and everything is settled. You're trying to
Thank you
tell
for
me
the
that this
analogy.
person has not done
Let's bring it
something?
back to God then. All right.
Wait,
So tell me
it
something that he
hasn't
says
done
he can
something.
do.
Wait, something has not done what you claim it can do, and yet I should keep saying that it can do that thing. No,
Good.
that's not
What is it
logical.
that he
It's not
claims he
logical
can
at all.
do and that he has not done? What is it? Tell me.
You're the one asking the question. That's why I'm putting it as vague as you put the
I've asked
question
you
as
the
well.
question. You said we claim God can do something that he's yet to do. What is that thing we are claiming he can do and he hasn't done yet?
I don't know, but I know there are many. As I said
You
before.
can't not know
Wait.
something and then there
I
are
gave
many
you,
of it. You have to give an
brother.
example.
I gave you one example before. Eh? You could find one or two people, right, that would thank God and sing praise and worship for their suffering. But you would find next to those one or two people, 200 that are praying for that suffering to end.
So who was
You
how
get
much is
it?
10 minutes again? Sorry, I'm coming.
No.
10,000.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
actually,
serious.
I
Let's
have
go,
20
man.
minutes left from my special engagement with Simple. Let me just finish it now. I remember.
Wow, man.
So I'm paying for the 10,000 now, and then I can for 10 minutes, then I'll use the remaining 20 minutes.
Okay, right. Oh, so you want to do 30 minutes?
Yeah, we've already done 10, so I'll just finish with the 20. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So sorry, can you just repeat the last point you made?
My brother, at this point, I'll start writing what we're saying down this
No,
line. So go ahead.
we're talking about the fact